making steps and everything the last couple games. Is the next step winning on the road, and what is that going to take?
Yeah, I think it's an obvious step. What's it going to take? It's going to take defending and rebounding. Defending about the way we've been guarding. We've been guarding better and continue that. We got to rebound better. And then our execution's not great yet. We overcome it. We overcame it on Saturday against Virginia Tech, but just our execution and just want to, just wanting to get it done, just wanting it more than the other team at some point. Might be what it takes, but we have improved a lot. I mean, it doesn't show on our last win-loss record, but we have gotten better. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we're on the road. Miami's a lot better than I was anticipating. I didn't know much about them. I watched a lot of film. They're really talented. Really talented.
Mark, I know you talked on the conference call yesterday about when Paget, Hanky, and Brennan, you can get all of them playing well, and the fact that they've all been kind of up and down. How much have you thought about going forward with those four-guard lineups that we've seen? Maybe a little bit more. I know some of it's matchup oriented, but is there kind of a lean toward maybe using more of that just because you know more what you're getting?
Yeah, and I'd play four guards more if Mike's playing well too. That gives me a little depth there. I think the four-guard lineup's been good for us. I think we're getting used to playing it. We're practicing it more in practice and playing it more in games. So, quite honestly, we were playing it in games but not very good at it. And now our four-guard lineup's gotten better. So, it all depends on the situation. Who's playing well, who they're playing, what I think is good for us, and the most important thing is that we're in our small lineup. We're playing better, so it gives us a chance to. It gives me more confidence to play it.
So Mike is in a lot of ways the key to.
Well, not necessarily, but it would give us more depth
and more versatility.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys, defense has obviously improved, but I know you've said on the road you're still giving up too many points. Is there a difference there? I mean, when they're at home and you've got the crowd in it, do you think they feed off that since defense is so much about will?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're a better defensive team at home for obvious reasons, but I also think teams aren't as good on offense on the road as they are at home too. So, and they're better in their home building. So, and all those factors come into play. But if we're getting to the point at time of the year, and we didn't play any road games. We'll play road games next year in the non-conference. But you're getting that point in the year where it's almost where you've gotten so used to every situation, playing at home, playing on the road. There's really not that big of a difference when you get into February and mid-February. There's some teams that we might play that just have a talent level much greater than ours on the road, which would be hard for us. But besides that, there shouldn't be much of a difference. You should be able to handle every situation well.
Have you generally found that your younger teams in the past have been tougher to get going on the road? Or?
Yeah, I think I'm sure my first year at Jacksonville State we didn't win a lot of games on the road. I know our first year at Wichita State we didn't win a lot of road games. Might have won one in the league. A&M had a good team, really good team. I took over, we won some games. So, but year 2, year 3 was always much better. So this is a young team, getting used to each other still. I know that sounds crazy, but we are. And yeah, it takes time. I hope it happens Wednesday. I feel good about the way we played at Temple. I think Temple's starting to hit their stride a little bit. They get the big kid back. You look at their scores since we played him. Of course, they beat Duke before we played him. So I was pleased with our effort there. Hopefully that'll carry over into Miami.
Played Larinagas Mason team, I think 3 times, wasn't it, in a 2-year
Yeah.
span? What do you remember, obviously, besides the whole Sweet 16 type stuff, that kind of defines what these teams are like, and how it kind of jives with what you see on tape?
Well, the George Mason teams had great players, and Jim put them in positions to be successful. Offensively, they're not really complicated. but he gets the ball at the right time, at the right spot, to the right person, and, which is good coaching. They've always been good defensively, and not a lot of gimmicks, a few gimmicks in there, but just really solid defensively. So I see it watching this team now with the good post players and the good guards. It reminds me a lot of that George Mason team. Obviously, you know, they're getting healthy too. They had guys hurt, and they're kind of just starting to hit their stride too. Kind of like we're getting better. They're a much deeper team now. They're really talented.
Coach, Miami's not necessarily known for their defense of the three-point shot. I mean, is that something you emphasize, is being able to shoot from long range, and you change that at all?
No, we just try to figure out what to score. It's not easy for us. Now, we'll try all kinds of different things. I've watched a bunch of different film on them and what's worked against them and what hasn't worked. See what kind of rhythm we can get into. If not, we'll try something different. And I hope we make some threes. I hope we have a bunch of them, because that'll help us. But it's not really what we do great. Terrell's and Sean have shot the ball pretty well for us, but we need some other guys to step up and do it. But if that presents itself, we'll hopefully take advantage of it.
I know you got to ask about Terrell on the conference call yesterday, but I wanted to ask, where would you say, in terms of having a well-rounded game and playing the kind of defense that you want and sharing the ball, at what stage of development is he at this point in the season?
He's come a long ways. I mean, it's amazing what the kid's doing. He didn't guard Green on the whole game, but he did a good job on him when he guarded him. The kid had 18 points on 21 shots. They tried to post Terrell. He handled it pretty well. Had good team defense. He played hard defensively. You know, I thought he really played well the other day. He might have forced a couple. You know, 2 of his turnovers were actually trying to make passes. The right, you know, gets in too deep, and then the charge, which was really a dumb play late in the game. But it's not going to happen overnight. But if we popped in a film from day one to now, I think you'd just be shocked how much better the kid is. So he's a much better teammate, and I'm proud of him. You know, and I think he wants to be a good teammate. I think he's trying to figure. He doesn't totally know how to play a certain way for us to win. In his mind, he's got to shoot every time for us to win. So he's trying to figure that out. He's learning. And I don't know if there's anybody in this room that every time you touched it, you thought you were going to score. I didn't. And he thinks he can score every time he touches it. So it's a curse and a blessing for him. So I couldn't be happier. I think if you asked his teammates, they'd feel the same way. There's times when he doesn't get the ball, but we all tell him. And I don't think, honestly, sometimes I don't think he even sees it because he's so driven on what he's trying to do.
Eric, you have a good shot. I think you feel that way when you get the ball every time.
City League.
Have you figured out if coming off the bench is a more comfortable thing for Alex? That it is, can you tell if that takes any of the pressure out of the equation of all the things going on with him?
I haven't asked him,
Sure.
but I think he feels more comfortable right now coming off the bench. I think he wants to play more than he's played the last 2 games, and I want him to play more, and I want him to play better. And for us to have a chance Wednesday, he's got to play and protect the rim for us against their big guys who are so good. And he had his best practice in a long time yesterday. Hopefully that carries over. And we're trying to simplify things for him offensively. I think I had all these grand ideas and was piling it all on him when he came back. I think it was too much. Now we're just going to try to simplify it, give him a couple moves and one move and see if he can do that. He's a very unselfish player, and that's hurt him at times. But I hope it takes pressure off. But we need him if we want to keep this thing going in the right direction. Alex has got to help us, and he knows that.
How much do you keep up with the ACC, and how big is a road win in the league?
Well, I keep up with it. Not as intently as I would if we were 5-1 or 6-0 or whatever, 4-2, right in the middle of it. But you know, the teams that the cream rises. Cream rises every year in leagues. The best teams win games, and the best teams win games on the road. So it's very important. You know, this Miami team, I think, has already won 2 road games. They played 4 of the first 6 on the road. So I mean, they got a chance to still be involved. But cream rises. Best teams learn how to win half their games at least on the road. Great teams win more than that on the road. They usually become league champions. So it's important. It's important. So, yeah, the first question, is that the next step? Yeah, it probably is. You know, we haven't beat a really good team that we weren't supposed to beat yet. I don't know if Virginia Tech was favored or not the other day. I don't get into that, but you know, that would be a road win, and beating a team that we're really not supposed to beat on paper was really our next step.
Mark, can you speak to what Jim's up against, trying to establish a program at a school that's more of a football program, sort of like your situation at A&M?
Yeah, I think he's happy. He's back home. He's from the area. He's got a lot of family in the area. He's actually taken over a really talented team. They've had bad luck with injuries. It's different than what he's used to playing up at George Mason, being in this area where they love basketball. I'm sure it's different, but every time I talk to him, he just seems so happy. And he already got a contract extension. How good is that? So they're obviously really happy with him. And, I don't know if I can speak to him because every time I talk to him, he's real positive, which we usually are, so we can't use it negative and then recruiting against him. So but he seems real happy. I just keep saying, I was shocked how much talent they have, and they got an old team that's young in years, if that makes sense. They've gone other places, and he's got a chance to really establish something there over the next few years if he does what he normally does as far as recruiting and coaching.
Anything else, Joe?
One question. You guys were off Sunday? Correct.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, so yesterday was the only practice since the game. You had talked last week, practices were getting better, more consistent, everything. What did Monday look like?
Monday was pretty good. Arnold's hurt, and Arnold's our point guard on the second team. He's not practicing. That hurt us. We did practice last week earlier. We had John Dillard, one of our players' granddad died, so he wasn't at practice. So we were limited on numbers. We had to get him going, but once we got him going, we were great. We were really good, and you can just see the confidence coming. And guys are making smarter plays. They're trusting their teammates more. I'm not saying we're going to beat Miami, but I'm just saying we're making just phenomenal strides. We're actually becoming a team. We're becoming a family. You can see they really care about each other, and they're respecting what guys can do. So it's fun for the first time for me all year. Hopefully today will be fun.